he type when he's like?
Okay, can people
We
hear
did
me
type.
now?
When we were typing, we only typed that out.
You see, the funny
Then
thing
we were working
is,
on the volume.
can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, it's
He didn't. He
showing.
wasn't typing when he lost volume.
No.
When he lost audio. I'm just making sure you didn't like mute it somehow.
Uh-uh.
If you ever
Yep.
want to try
You
it,
know,
Okay.
it's showing that it's working now.
your
Yeah.
dad and I make them with
Okay.
hamburger, finely chopped up bacon,
Okay.
finely chopped pepperoncini.
Yeah, I
a
just
little grated
had to reboot the
Parmesan,
stream again,
and
idiots.
A little
Yep.
oat fiber or cinnamon husk.
Thank you,
and there's a
folks.
binder with it.
Appreciate it.
Let me read this.
You're trying to figure out what might be the problem going on.
Yeah, so if it happens again.
I have no idea.
And we're
So,
back.
as
Yep.
people are coming back here. So anyhow, you can hear me. It's still on the wrong camera, but I was so busy to get back to the live stream, I didn't switch to the other camera. I forgot. Yep.
There's something that we didn't do.
There's the line right there. What do you mean?
What line?
Can I see something real quick?
Sure.
Is this your YouTube thing?
No,
Which one's
that's
the
my YouTube channel. That's my channel.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking to see if this has.
We got
the
a geek
option.
doing geek stuff here.
They can hear you now, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just looking.
I had just shut it all down, restarted it. So anyhow,
Oh wait.
we're letting
That's what I want to see.
everyone kind of get back on there.
Do you see something in here that says mute site?
Mm-mm.
I'm looking for.
No.
Supposedly there's a.
Oh yeah, supposedly it's somewhere. Yeah,
I'm just looking to make sure it didn't get muted on accident.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
No, they can hear me fine right now.
Okay.
The other thing is shut down.
Yeah, but it seems like it happens to you often, so I'm.
Not that particular thing. That's the first time that's happened where it just completely shut off the sound for no apparent reason.
Okay.
We've had problems with it buffering.
Okay.
See, but we've only got 5 people back now.
Mm.
And we had almost 17 or 20 there. We got 6. So I'm wondering how many noticed that the stream has been rebooted. Yeah. So anyhow, I say we got 2 geeks and a dork here, and it still can't get it running right. Yeah. Yeah, that was weird, and it happened right when I tried to call it up on the other computer so that we could monitor the chat over there and stuff, which we've done before. This is nothing new. But tonight, when I was doing that computer there, it would be going, I'd have the stream and then it would go black, and then the stream and then black. And it was like, it's oscillating somehow. Don't know why.
You want to see if it does it?
It's YouTube, Yeah. Say, I have no clue. CIA, it's possible. Yep.
It's called Hepcat. It's called How Resist Between Keyboard and
Person.
Chair.
No, in this case, it's YouTube. Okay, Mr. Virtue is buffering. Does YouTube give you an RTP endpoint address you can connect to? Like, I would know what an RTP endpoint address is. Any idea what he's even talking about?
Mm-mm.
What do you need an RTP endpoint address for to connect them to?
Chris Georgie asked, does YouTube give you an RTP endpoint address you can connect to? That was the question. I have no idea what it means. Chris agrees that EBCAC is always a possibility.
Hepcat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the buffering is stopped with Mr. Virtue. We have 11 people back. Oh.
What was the question about? What?
Does YouTube give you a RTP endpoint address you can connect to?
No.
I have no.
How much?
Call BR 549 to fix. Hey, Zioxio, how's it going? See, if you were to get over here in the next couple of days, you could see my daughters. There's one of them right there. Yep. You should be able to reconnect the stream somehow. Could be. Hard to tell with YouTube. Yep.
He's a rock geek, not a computer geek.
So anyhow, yeah, that black poison was not horrendous, but it wasn't real easy. But I think that the method I came up with was pretty efficient at getting the gold concentrated out of it, which is all I'm about. I'm not 100% on purity because I just take all the other stuff, throw it back in. And so I thought that worked out pretty well, but I really want to thank Jason for sending that over. I didn't ask for that. That was purely voluntary on his part. And I thought that was good. Yeah, well, Zioxio, my daughters were camping in it and they weren't whining. So what's your excuse? He's in Butte.
Oh.
Yeah. And we were fishing in the rain. You know, what the heck?
That was the old hee-haw number.
No, I haven't, Mr. Lodek. Again, I'm not usually a pay dirt or placer kind of guy. And so I hadn't even asked for it. He just sent it to me just for whatever reasons. In Jason's mind, he's got an unusual mind. He does stuff, for whatever reason Jason does. And but yeah, it was fun to play with that, and also get a little better feel for the difference between the microfine gold and the not so microfine gold. Strangely enough, the technique I use to get the microfine doesn't work with a darn on that non-microfine in terms of the reveal. The microfine will reveal just fine. Yeah.
I haven't drank.
Livingston. Where's Livingston, Montana? I got smartphones over here, and they know how to use them.
I don't.
You were in Bozeman shooting garden, eating rabbits. Sounds like fun. Yep.
Livingston.
Trying to pan Monzonite, huh?
Oh, it's southeast of here.
How far? Just east of Bozeman? Okay.
126 miles.
Okay. So they've got an Alessi crusher. Interesting. I'll maybe see about taking something over there if I'm headed that direction. Eva was saying she wanted to go back to Yellowstone sometime and see it. Washington just outlawed gold cubes on the beach. For God's sakes, why? Do you have any idea, Ethan? Holy crap. A gold cube is nothing more than a sluice. No, it's the text is why I have to use my glasses. I really need to get some new glasses made. These are just reading glasses.
He needs glasses bad.
Salmon habitat on the beaches are now safe from the disturbance of a gold cube, but not, of course, the 30-foot storm waves. Oh, my God. Yeah, clown world. You got it right. Mining bad. Yeah, no, people bad. Yeah. Everything with a motor or a batter band, huh? Hey, Smoking, how's it going? Battery. Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, Trout Unlimited. Yeah, they're going to find out they're not going to be terribly welcome in a lot of places out west sooner or later, I suspect, and possibly very unwelcome. As things get less pleasant in general, people will become less pleasant in general. Yeah, Kevin was. It's hard to tell. I say Eva's been there a couple of years ago, but she wasn't feeling too well. She'd like to go back when she's feeling better here. Exactly, Eason. Because trout are declining, it's because gold keeps on the beach and not the big cities dumping waste into the headwaters of trout waters. Yeah. That's okay. The people who are say when I say unpleasant, I'm afraid it may get very unpleasant where they show up and never go home to New York. You know.
We have a new comment. Facebook.
Yep. So that's it. I don't know. It's getting crazy. I was just watching Bill Whittle. Was it Bill Whittle? Yeah, Bill Whittle today. And he says some guy just did a back of the envelope calculation and figured this one out. Hordes of government bureaucrats haven't managed to figure this one out, but he just did it quick. He said, if you take all the vehicle miles driven by cars in the United States right now, and you replace that with electric vehicles by 2030, you would have to build one gigawatt nuclear power plant every 3 weeks to meet the new energy demand. And, assuming that it's true, and I haven't done the math myself, but that's the sort of thing that would not surprise me. It's like nobody's even given any thought to where all this electricity is going to come from. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways you can make energy, but they won't let us do any of them if it isn't a windmill or a damn solar farm. Oh no, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have nuclear power plant. Just gives them the hives, I think. Yeah, I agree. The little mini thorium reactors. There's lots of ways of doing it if you just let the technicians get the job done. Yeah. Exactly, Chris. And we're worried about grid stability now? Yeah, no kidding. Besides, all those cars are going to be charging at night, right? Just a thought?
Maybe.
I will.
Huh?
I will. You gonna try that? You give you that bag?
Yeah.
To try. What do you want?
Surf shoulders.
Let me pass, not Manita pass, huh? Well, yeah, but let's say apparently it's not going to be a few central power plants. It's going to be thousands of them. No, I'm not going to be getting an electric Ford 150. Nope, not planning on it. Aside from the incredible price, where I go, they don't have charging stations. I agree that an electric vehicle makes sense under many circumstances, but from a societal standpoint, you still got to say, where are we going to get the damn power from?
Well, remember, the Ford F-150, the new
Hi,
towing
Jefferson.
vehicle they're making, supposedly has no range. It's like having a towing vehicle.
I think it takes longer than 30 minutes to charge, Bob. I think it, I'm not sure what it is now, but I think it's more than 30 minutes for a full charge. And yeah, you can pull up at a gas station, 5 minutes later, you're on the road.
I have heard that average charging time, unless you have a fast charging thing, is like 2 hours.
Yeah, average charging time. But what's a fast charger run? One of
I
these
have no idea.
superchargers.
Apparently, it's when you're not all the way down or something. But somebody on one of the forums
Glad
that
to
I
see you
was
too,
reading on the
Jefferson.
issue was saying that if they were going to put in charging stations at gas stations around the country, they'd have to have lounges because it takes an average of 2 hours to charge one of those things.
Zaxo says the new F-150 takes 45 minutes to charge at max speed at a special charging station. Yep. But fast charging tends to degrade battery life.
Well, I've heard that new one F-150, they're already making noises that it may have problems with the range when it's towing.
Yeah. Jefferson, not in detail in terms of gold flotation. I know the general theory of flotation. There's also the question, are you floating the gold itself or are you floating a mineral that contains the gold. For example, if you were floating gold containing pyrite, then you'd need to know the chemistry of the pyrite. But gold flotation will work pretty well on some ores that won't do anything else. The specifics of which attractants and frothants and things like that you would need would determine what, you know, the ore will determine what you can do, you know. Yeah, it's the Oxio, except I don't think there's going to be enough mines to do it. Yeah, I say in a big city, if you don't have long commutes, if you're like the typical, you know, like my mother, you know, retired, just going around shopping and stuff like that, and not having a big time, you know, to you know, it's not a problem to charge it at night. Not a problem. And yep, carbon capture would be easier to implement. Nuclear would make it a lot easier than that. Actually, also, Xioxio Camp gave me about 50 pages on floating iron oxides too. Yeah, exactly. Smoking. Of course, you gotta consider too that it's not just the battery; it's the engine. The engine weighs a lot more than the battery. I mean, not the battery, but the gas tank in general. So you have to look at the whole powertrain. And well, come on over here, Xioxio. If you really need to, let me know. I'll see about getting you copies. Same with you, Chris. Yeah, the gas is a lot more energy dense than batteries for sure, but the batteries use a smaller motor and driveline also. So there are trade-offs. But again, if you do short trips around town, that sort of thing, it can make perfect sense from that standpoint. Now, it's still a $70,000 economy car. Just doesn't, there seems to be a little something oxymoronic there, you know? Yeah, and the weight doesn't go down as you're burning up the energy, but yeah, you have a car, you don't lose that much weight as you burn the fuel. So the main thing I can see is charging times and range, and the actual raw materials to make that many lithium batteries and rare earth magnet motors and all that other stuff, you know? Yeah, you can do some stuff with clay and flotation, but you'd have to talk with a real expert on that as opposed to me. And what size gold are you looking at, Jefferson? That's the key. I believe they actually do float clay off the impurities, you know. Yeah, I say electric cars make sense. Well, now they make sense in certain cases. They're still quite expensive. I mean, a $70,000 or $100,000 Tesla, kind of hard to replace your Toyota with that. You know, your used Toyota. Yeah, but it will take you more time for us. I know it's really funny. You just come over Monida Pass into whatever the heck that little town is there. There's like, what was it? 5 Tesla charging stations
Yeah,
sitting
5
there.
or 6.
It was
Sitting there
hilarious. In the middle of nowhere, getting cobwebs, you know.
In a state where there are no Teslas.
Oh yeah. No, I say Jefferson's. It just got a little sidetrack there. What size gold do you got? The Nelson concentrator would usually be on a real fine gold. If you got a coarser gold, there's usually other ways. Is it is your clay bound together, or is the clay floating off fine gold particles? What do you know exactly what's going on, Jefferson? Because I can see the problem with a fine gold and clay in a slurry together. The other problem would be if you had actual clay balls. You know, if you have chunks of clay.
Normally I'm laying on the floor almost for at least a couple hours in a day.
Well, part of it's the Oxio is it's expensive. It's tricky. You need classification.
Cold treatment.
It's not really a small scale, small batch type process in general. Not enough material through it to be able to give you an idea, Argonaut. The material that we ran through the 300 pounds of the Montana Bee screen dump was not exactly the most abrasive material in the world. So I can't give you that. Now, if that had been, say, some of, if it was a hard quartz, then I'd have a much better idea how much the wear rates were comparing. Because we actually have the wear bars hard-faced in this mill, but the rotor tip wear parts are just T1 steel. So that would have given me thing that the T1, the edges were barely rounded from 300 pounds of that material, but it's pretty soft and kind of fine. So I wouldn't consider it a very tough test to pass. Yeah, it's got, about a third silica and a third dolomite and a quarter iron oxide and a bunch of other stuff. It's got quartz, but it's typically not big bowl quartz either, good, tough, hard quartz. So I can't really give it a value. Okay, Mr. Virtue, you take care. The mill itself, I was happy with because it got a fairly fine grind without needing the deflector plate, which made the thing simpler. It would be T1. I'm not sure what T1 steel is, exactly what's in it. But that's what they had was T1. That was the best I could come up with. I'll boot this other computer up, stay the hell away from my channel and see. I'll bet you Chris is going to beat me to this one because I got to boot up. For all I know, Chris can do that from memory. Yeah, rice sized ain't enough for hard rock. Chris took off for a bit. Okay. Good. I've got a chance then. We've produced one. We intend to produce more forest. We're not really set up for it. That one was, we borrowed a friend of Jim's shop for a couple of days and we did the rest in Jim's yard. We were using a stick welder instead of MIG, which kind of sucks. And T1 steel. What is the hardness? What is T1 grade steel? It's a tungsten high-speed steel. It's high temperature hard, easy to grind process. Also called GIS SKH2 and DIN 1.3355 steel. It can be used to process soft or medium hardness materials, 300 HB to 320 HB. You know, so, and essentially it's a mild tempered steel. Let's see, okay, get some rest there, Jefferson. Get ready for that. So, I say it's harder than mild steel. It's not the hardest. It's not like AR 500 or something like that. And they also make special steels which are like tungsten carbide impregnated. And easy grind. Yeah, I'm not sure. I could grind it with the grinder.
I have been trading night fishing.
Yeah.
Because apparently.
I say I don't really know. It's what was available to me through local supplier. By local, I mean Great Falls, 120 miles away.
So it's still kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's still
So I'm not sure.
days after.
The Oxia says chrome vanadium.
Yeah, for us.
Is that a suggestion, or is that what you think it is, the Oxia? So I say it's what we had available, so that's what I used. It's a bit of an experiment. Yeah, but Chris, if they had the edging for a loader bucket in 1/4-inch plates, that would be good. I can't just design something around oddball chunks of stuff. Yep.
We're not even on YouTube, so. Last thing.
Yeah, Xioxio. It's not the easiest. It's not like Los Angeles, but oh well. I'm glad it isn't. I wouldn't want to live in Los Angeles. So what's up, ladies?
We're fixing to head out.
You gonna go fishing?
Yeah. She
Yeah.
was saying that the full moon fishing in the shallows, and that's what's in front of us,
Yeah.
is what they say is really good. And tonight
Mhm.
is almost full moon, and tomorrow's
Yeah.
full moon.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was
They're
like-
gonna go back to camp and try and catch some fish. Shush you. Told you they got good heads on their shoulders. Let's see.
Yeah, we do have the little shiners.
Yeah, we have shiners and worms.
What do you mean by red hardness, Jim? Yeah, even those Xioxia, once we get a few things there, she's going to try and get over there. Good. Yeah, they seem to be biting over here okay today, down below the dam. Hey, Forrest, on that Mighty Mill, is that a batch? In other words, you just feed some in and then keep grinding it until you stop and empty it? Chris says, good luck, ladies. Rick says, let's
Thank
all
you.
go fishing.
All right, let's do it.
Kick some bass.
Eva,
Kick some ass.
we're leaving. You wanna say bye?
I need to talk to you about website stuff sometime.
Oh, I'm not a website person, but what do you need?
We gotta move Bear's website someplace before it costs us over $300. I've
Okay.
got until the 1st of June to figure this out.
Okay, we'll figure something out, because I do know a website person.
Okay, well, anyway.
I'm not a
George,
website person.
That's what's going on with that, and
I'm
we'll figure something
security
out at some point.
You want me to make it to where your computer doesn't work? I can go ahead and
All right,
harden it
fine.
all you want.
No, Xioxio. I think that's one of those little angle grinder type mills, like a Cobra Crusher.
Hey there, your other
Oh,
daughter's
and
behind
Take care.
I like cheeseburgers.
You like cheeseburgers?
Yes,
All right,
and
we'll
they
do
make
cheeseburgers.
keto hamburger buns, 0 carb.
We'll
They
do it.
do have gluten, unfortunately.
All right, we'll do cheeseburgers over the grill.
Y'all have a good
Yeah.
one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Eva. Bye,
Later.
Dad.
Bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Later, dudes.
Yeah. I say that's as a sampling sort of crusher for small samples, like, you know, a couple of pounds, something that's probably about the best you can get, you know, that sort of thing.
I have to use your computer for a short period of time here.
Okay. That's not what mine's designed for. Mine's designed as a small production mill. And for that, I don't think there's anything
Do you
competitive on
happen
the
to
market.
remember which email address that notice from Wix came in?
No, I would presume Wild West. Just 'cause-
Actually,
say so for small hand sample sort of things, there's some nice stuff on the market that's designed just for that, real small samples. Mine is not. I don't do small samples. It's mine. I'd use it for, you know, 1 to 300 pound test runs.
might be it.
The other thing that's bad about mine for sampling is you can get gold trapping various places. So mine does this last one on Montana B, a 1/2 inch minus screened. It was running at about we measured 275 pounds an hour, no problem. 300 pounds an hour, you're running right on the edge of where you're going to overload it, and then it kind of tries to stall in terms of the flow rates, and then you got to back off, and you're fighting it. 250 would be easy, you know. And but that's what it does. It's just crunching it right up. And if you really want to tighten up the grind, we were running at about 125 pounds an hour at like 95% passing 65 mesh. Yeah, Ethan, I've done that. I'm not enthused. I have a crusher like that. Yep. Hello, Mohammed. That's at least you found out, Mohammed. That's the important thing. So, yep, keep us in the loop. Let us know how that works out. Oh, it works about as well for broke quartz as anything. Yep. Yeah, I know, Ethan. Been there, done that. Got the blisters, you know. Thank you, Mohammed. Well, the question is, the Oxio, how fine a size do you need? Because what you're doing, I mean, for flotation, that's plenty, you know. By a roller mill, are you talking a rolls crusher, Zeoxio? Because if you are, this gets a lot better than a rolls crusher. I have a rolls crusher. Okay. Yeah, but Forrest, is that a steady state system, or are you doing individual batches? Is the question. Mount Baker's mill, the one I'm aware of, is more capacity than that.
You're about to get a code on your phone.
I'm about to get a code on my phone. Okay. And I mean, Mount Baker has like a 1 ton and a 2 ton an hour. Yeah. Okay. A rolls crusher. Yeah. This will do a lot finer than a rolls crusher. Trust me. Got one. It gives about 50% passing 30 mesh single pass from a 1/4 inch minus feedstock. might be 35 mesh, but it was about 50%. Could be, Ethan, especially if it's not a hardened chain. Never a big fan of chain mills. I figured a bar is going to be a lot more effective. But mine seems to work pretty well. It focuses the wear on particular areas that you can hard face or fix up. Yeah, it looks, Mount Baker stuff does look like it's beefy and chunky and built for repair and this, that, and the other. I'd like to actually get my hands on some sometime, but yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Trying to figure out how to downgrade your account.
Not just malleable, but also if it's damp or if it's got clay in it, Chris, it just turns it into flakes. The Xioxio, the minimum grind size is determined by the gap between the rollers when it's pressed the stuff into essentially a solid flake. And that's the negative. I say I've got one, I've used it for years. It's great for sampling because it doesn't get too much cross contamination. We'll do continuous with an adapter right in the pan. Okay, that's good then. Good, Forrest. Ball mills are nice if you're not processing in the field. They're very hard for sampling though, because they're hard to clean out. And I agree, Chris. They're hammer mills that say that Mount Baker stuff looks pretty stuff, but it's not nearly as portable. It's a different niche. For leaching, yeah, it should get it down. It also doesn't get you too much over grind, Xioxio. If you're leaching, depending on, if you're like doing a heap leach, you want to minimize your fines. So a rolls crusher would be much better there than an impact mill. An impact mill is way too fine a grind for that. But I say rolls crushers do those channels. How many hours work for the maintenance for replacement? Not familiar myself. Miner Jim can give you a thing. He's got one. I know he doesn't like the outlet screen. Also, the classification wears out pretty quick. Yes, you're correct, Xioxio. You also heard of something called a high pressure roller press. It's basically a choke fed rolls crusher, and it is used usually to prep for like ball mills because it does that. It stresses things that if it doesn't break it, it does stress it. Yeah, that's a for sampling and stuff, Forrest, that's good. Especially if you're just trying to break up something like caliche or whatever, and it just poof, and that would disintegrate it.
I am not sure exactly what we're going to do with this.
Okay, so here's Miner Jim. My impact mill would destroy Rockwell 70 chain and 500 pounds of quartz ore. Okay. How long did that take you, Jim? That would take me about 2 hours with my mill. And Jim is, we're waiting for his response here. I say mine will run a lot more. Probably be looking at about 1,000 to 2,000 pounds before you're swapping wear parts around a little bit, and about 4 times that before you all day. Okay, so Miner Jim said it would take him all day So if you're talking 500 pounds, maybe 60 pounds an hour, something like that. And they'd be worn out by the end of the day. Mine would do that in about 2 hours, and you'd still have lots of wear left to go on the wear parts, like 4 or 5 times as much. Now, mine can also be hard faced if you wish. And that can extend the life almost indefinitely if you're good at hard facing, getting a nice smooth bead and wear it down to the same amount each time. The very corner of the tip rotor takes extra abuse though, so it'd be a little tricky to make it last kind of indefinitely with hard facing, but you can extend it for sure. I suspect if you had a hard ore, it might be better to get some AR 500 or something like that and have them plasma cut some parts. I suspect that would be your most economic way of doing that on a long run situation. Are you doing any tinfoil hat tonight?
Probably not. I'm trying to find out what to do about your website.
Because they have a ridiculous price now all of a sudden?
Yeah, they have a ridiculous price.
Okay.
I can do a fast tinfoil hat. I don't really have much to say because I haven't seen much in the news. I've been busy doing other things.
I know.
So if you want to give me about 15 minutes, guys, I'll come up with something.
I presume you meant 5-gallon buckets, Forrest. I would call it a drum if it wasn't. Jim, if it was good hard quartz, we would have seen much more wear. Yeah, that stuff we ran through, it wasn't nearly as hard as, say, Ryan's quartz. That was some brutal stuff. Oh, that was horrible. 2 hours. Say a 55-gallon bucket. If they were near, like 4/5 full or whatever, it's about 50 pounds. So you're looking 500 pounds in 2 hours. That's pretty good throughput. And how much wear did you have? What were you running through it, Forrest? She'll be back in just a minute. When are you planning to do that so I can give them a time?
About 15 minutes. I'm just.
She
looking
says
for
about
something to
15
talk to them
minutes.
about today.
It'll be about 15 minutes or so. She's in the middle of something right now. Yeah, I'd love to see a few things actually working, Chris, but it seems to have good solid equipment. That sucks, Zioxio. I've dug through quartz before. It's no fun. None at all. For Eva's tinfoil hat, the DHS has a new CP3 department. What the heck is a CP3 department, if you can give me some more information, Bob?
Yeah.
I know what DHS is, but I don't know what CP3. Possibly. I mean, they're basically
Center for Prevention Programs.
That's pretty good, Zioxio.
Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships.
And what does it do?
Oh boy.
She's looking. She's giving the ooh boy, Bob. I think
Terrorism and
it's
targeted violence prevention is the core of their mission following the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Yeah, anti-patriot stuff, it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing how all that's working out. 1,000 riots on one side, no issue. One on the other, big issue. Anyhow,
Okay. Yeah.
okay. She's making disapproving noises, Bob.
Addressing terrorist use of the internet.
Oh, demonetized doesn't bother me, Zioxio. I'm not monetized in the first place.
Yeah, if you ever see commercials on our videos, let us know since they ain't paying us.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be any commercials on my stuff.
Well, they can do it now without telling you. But then we can contact them and get them to pay us.
Oh, man.
Okay. Yeah.
You like that? You got your bus running, huh? Sweet. Bob Craftsman suggests a Lisa Haven on YouTube as a good information source. Well, that 20 passenger bus should be a pretty good mobile prospecting facility.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
This is going to be a little bit too touchy to go into in detail.
Yeah. Apparently, Chris, Eva agrees with you there.
Yeah.
That would be great, Zioxio. Eva would love that. Yeah, she really wants to see some sapphires. Oh.
I really want to see all kinds of crystals. Want to go to Crystal Park.
He says it's open. Yeah, I suspect that might be the case, but we can't say anything. Jigging would be, yeah, fairly normal for sapphires. At least the ones big enough to be useful for recovery would work well. I told her.
You told me what?
The Crystal Park is open. Yep.
Well, this week is a little bit busy, as you well know.
Yeah. Governed 47 to 50 miles per hour. Yeah. Just put Geezer Mobile on the back. That'll work.
Wow. This is a record.
What?
The amount of money in supply has increased 33% since January of 2020.
What, the M1?
Apparently so.
Okay.
Well, things have gotten even more.
January 2020? That's over a year.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. Last I checked, the M1, M2, and M0 that they're no longer reporting on, we now have more money in circulation than we've had in the entire history of the United States.
Well, yeah.
Fascinating. Well, I think we're going to be
It's
discussing
called-
this here in a minute.
It's called the future.
Okay.
Well, Alex, we'll get to that when I get back. But I have this impatient woman behind me.
Going to be short and sweet, guys. Howdy. First of all, sorry I have not done any research. We got a few little weird things going on here this week. First of all, I, a totally non-tech person, am trying to figure out how to migrate Bear's website elsewhere before they charge us a huge amount of money that I don't want to pay for something that we're essentially not using. Ooh, cool, Zioxio. I am looking forward to, hi Argonaut, I am looking forward to doing some crystal things. And I also have a few other little things going on this week, being as I'm old and in fairly ridiculous condition these days. Well, apparently the amount of money in supplies increased 33% since January 2020, which should surprise nobody, since the M0, M1, and M2 have suddenly ceased to be reported by Fred. Fred is being distressingly silent about these things. But last I checked, the graphs were vertical. The commodities graphs are also going vertical now because, surprise, surprise, it seems that inflation may be happening. Now, I know you're all shocked
No.
by this. And I'm flabbergasted myself, as we all know that there is no inflation. In fact, we have been told by Senorita Circleback there in the apparatchik speaking for Lord Malarkey and Company that the inflation that's going on is a sign of a healthy, burgeoning economy. And by the way, the fact that the unemployment numbers have risen sharply and everyone is screaming for employees and can't find them is also a sign that our economy is roaring back to health. Isn't this just wonderful? Yeah, we all know how that is. Well, so I'm looking on Muddy Metals, and on Wednesday, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics released numbers indicating the average price level of consumer goods has risen 4.2% since this time last year. Actually, I think they're being a little bit
Pessimistic?
optimistic in that regard, considering that gas prices here at least have gone up $1.07 a gallon since the same time last year, which is about a 50% increase. But 4.2, 50%, yeah. Well, what's a few percentage points between friends here? We all know how that is.
50% is that 5.0?
Well, as far as the government's concerned, probably. This is the highest rate since 2008. In other words, the average consumer making the same salary this year has taken a pay cut when you consider what their paycheck can actually buy. How does BLS know this? Well, they keep track of this by using the Consumer Price Index, which, by the way, any relationship between the Consumer Price Index and actual prices is strictly coincidental. Just, we're not supposed to know that. Okay. A CPI growth of 4.2 means this basket of goods that the average consumer buys has gotten 4.2% more expensive. Economists call this measure inflation. Well, the CPI also doesn't track a whole heck of a lot of things that a lot of us buy every single day. So what's happening? Well, way too much money. That's what's happening. Okay. As they say, the money printer goes brr. And I do not know if you'll be able to see this. You may not be able to see this. No, you can't. But you should be able to see it on Fred. It is still out there if you want to look up the M2 money reserve. And basically, according to all the figures, there's actually more money in circulation right now than we have had in the entire history of the United States. Success. Just, totally winning. So, of course, Senorita Circleback, speaking as the head apparatchik for Lord Malarkey and Company, has said that all this inflation is a sign of an absolutely healthy economy. Anyone who says otherwise is obviously some sort of a demented individual. Geoxio, I'm not sure if the tinfoil hat is MSHA approved. They may not like the ears.
The substrate is.
But if I tell them that the ears actually are for detecting the ceiling over my head, they might like it. And yeah, for us, that means we should all be rich. We should be super rich at this point. We have been told that obviously the fact that people are still getting massive amounts of unemployment and helicopter money from the United States government has nothing to do with the reason nobody will go back to work. So we're going to stick with that narrative, obviously nobody wants to go back to work. And that has become very evident here in little old Helena, Montana, of all places, in that all of our fast food restaurants and several of our gas stations are now offering sign-on bonuses of an average of $300 to $500 if you agree to work for them. And our governor is offering people I think it's a $1,200 bonus if you've been on unemployment and you decide you want to get your happy butt back to work. So, a lot of our restaurants and a lot of our businesses have signs up on the doors right now saying, well, we're on short hours because we can't get anybody to work. Kind of bizarre.
That's,
No
I don't
idea
recall
why
ever
this
seeing
would
anything like that before.
No, I've never seen it either, but we're seeing a lot of things under Lord Malarkey and Lady Heels Up that we have never seen before. Now, apparently, the Department of Homeland Security is very interested in keeping the homeland very secure. I have here a website, dhs.gov/CP3, that everyone may find interesting. It is the Center for Prevention